A YouTube world? Well, what's it like to hand pump a Diana Stormrider? Well, it's not too bad. I've only had this Diana Stormrider for a few days, so I will be doing a review later on once I've spent more time with it. So far, very good things. I'm very happy, but I wanted to share with you guys something that I found a little difficult to find out. Lots of review videos and unboxing videos on the Diana Stormrider. This one is a Generation 2. Lots of reviews and information on these Chinese hand pumps. I simply wanted to know how many pumps it takes to get this thing and keep this thing in the optimal range, and how many shots do you get for your pumps. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about. In a nutshell, I work between 150 bar down to 125 bar of pressure. For that, I get 7 shots. This is a .22 caliber. It comes with a 7-round magazine. 9 round is the .177. So, just to be clear, .22 caliber, 7-round magazine. And if I start at 150 bar, I shoot the 7 pellets out of the magazine. I'm now down to 125. I can keep shooting. That's where I choose to stay. All right, and I'll explain that in a minute. So I go from 150 down to 125, 7 shots. I plug in the pump. I pump 7 times to prime the pump. And again, I'll quickly explain that. If the rifle is down to 125 bar, the pump and the hose is at 0. All right, so you're not going to put any more air into the rifle to increase from the 125 bar until you pump the line up to 125 bar. All right, so 7 pumps to get the line filled up, and then about 20 to 23 pumps to go from 125 back up to 150. All right, so let's call it, I could tell you, yes, it's 23 pumps, but then I'm going to be ignoring the 7 pumps it takes to prime the pump and the line. All right, so that would be misleading. My intention of this video is just to give you real world examples of what it's like. So, in the interest of honesty, 30 pumps. So I shoot from 150 bar down to 125, 7 pellets, I plug in the pump, 30 pumps, and I'm back up to 150 bar ready to shoot another 7 pellets. That's where I choose to work, 150 down to 125. And the reason I'm doing that is I did a lot of research. I was looking for a PCP/HPA. PCP is pre-charged pneumatic. Some people call this style of rifle HPA, high pressure air, and that is any air rifle that has its own onboard tank, all right, for compressed air. I wanted something that was specifically hand pump friendly. I didn't want to spend a couple of $100 on a scuba tank that I have to periodically drive into town and pay someone to refill. And I didn't want to, not at this stage, I didn't want to pay $300 to $400 for a high pressure air compressor. If you're new to this sort of stuff, this is not a regular bicycle tire or car tire pump, all right? You can't use a regular pump because the pressure is not enough. This will pump up to 4,500 PSI, all right? So, yeah, you have to use a high pressure pump. You can't use a normal compressor. You need a high pressure compressor, which, as I said, is $300 to $400. I didn't want to do that. I want to put in the work. I want to get a little bit of exercise. I want to keep this at good value. This thing is $199, excellent value. The pump was $45. Okay, so now you know what I was looking for. So doing my research, I came across a very good video. Now this rifle comes unregulated. Let me explain that. Unregulated means the maximum pressure of this is 200 bar. You can shoot from 200 bar all the way down till the pellets are basically falling out of the barrel, all right? So if you put in the regulator, Diana, I don't think they make it, but Diana sell a regulator for $90 to $100. None in the country, by the way, that I can find And you can adjust that from 100 bar in 5 bar increments up to 150. Now what that means is if you set this for say 125 bar, you fill your tank to 200 bar, you will shoot all the way down to 125 bar of pressure, but every shot will be regulated to 125 bar. The reason you would put in a regulator is to keep your shots very, very consistent. The same power, the same pressure, the same speed, which gives you accuracy. All right. So the research I did, I got on YouTube, and Pyramid Air does a very good video. If you put in the search bar on YouTube, Diana Stormrider, what is it? Diana Stormrider regulator install. If you watch that video, it's only about 10 to 12 minutes. It perfectly explains what regulators do, shows you how to install it, and they give you some stats and some results. When Pyramid Air did the testing, their unregulated Diana Stormrider pumped it all the way up to max pressure of 200 bar. They had crazy variations in pellet speed, therefore pellet power, and which affects the accuracy. The sweet spot out of their test, not mine, the sweet spot was when the Diana Stormrider was operating roughly like 150 or 140 down to 125, 120. That was their sweet spot. That's where they found the least variation in pellet speed and their best accuracy. So this is why I am working between 150 down to 125 bar. I am being the regulator. All right, the rifle's not regulated, so I am regulating it manually by controlling how much pressure I have in the gun. So that's what I'm doing. So in real time, once again, now that you know I shoot 7 pellets and the gun starts at 150 and drops to 125, I plug it back in, 30 pumps, I'm good. Let me give you a little more information just so you want, in case you want to know. The rifle came shipped to me brand new with 100 bar of pressure in it. The first thing I did was put in a pellet and shot it. And 100 bar is absolutely enough to do some plinking or target practice in the backyard. Now I've got some numbers here for you. 100 bar in the gun, in the rifle, with a 22 caliber pellet, very common weight is 14.3 grains. So 100 bar, 22 caliber, 14.3 grain pellet is going to give you a speed of about, where are we? Where's my notes? 100 bar. It's going to be about 600 feet per second, which will give you 12 foot-pounds of energy, which is what the UK is restricted to. So that's what 100 bar of pressure will give you, 600 feet per second, 12 foot-pounds of energy. These numbers are from Diana, by the way. If you move up to 120 bar, you're now going to be approximately 830 feet per second with 22 foot-pounds of energy for a .22 caliber pellet with a weight of 14.3 grains. Okay. Now to give you, we're talking bar, that's what everyone talks now. To give you some indication of what that is in PSI, and if you have a CO2 air rifle or air pistol, probably air rifle would be more accurate because rifles have a bit better speed. But if you own and shoot a CO2 that takes those little cylinders, the little 12-gram cartridges, those cartridges are about 1,000 PSI. 120 bar is 1,740 PSI. Okay, so that if you're used to using CO2, that'll give you a bit of an idea as well. 100 bar is 1450 PSI compared to 1,000 PSI in those little cartridges. So even 100 bar in this is pretty good. I've got a Diana Chaser in 22 and the same 14.3 grain pellets. Diana rate them as 500 feet per second with one of those 1,000 PSI little little cartridges. Okay, so at 100 bar, you're still getting 600 feet per second, 120 bar, over 800 feet per second. So that's, again, this is why until I get a regulator. That's if I decide to go for a regulator. I'm regulating this myself. I'm staying between 150 down to 125 bar. So as I said, this came with 100 bar. It took me 50 pumps to get it up to 150 bar. Then I shot 7 pellets. It went down to 125. Then I decided to see how much it would take to get up to max pressure of 200 bar. So the starting point was 125. It took me 50 pumps again to get back up to 200. So thereabouts. This was the first day. I got it a few days ago, so I'm just going off memory. So from 100 bar to 150, it was about 50 pumps. From 125 up to 200, it was 50, or it might have been 60 pumps, but still not too bad. But where I operate this thing, 150 bar, 7 shots, 30 pumps, I do another 7 shots, 30 pumps, I do another 7 shots, and it's very powerful, it's very consistent, it's very accurate. So I am the regulator, I regulate it myself. So onto the pumping. I'm not going to do a pumping demo. You will see people doing that and they speed it up, and so what's the point? Let me tell you a little bit about me. I'm 53 years old. 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. Since then, I've been diagnosed with osteoarthritis and tendonitis in both shoulders. I've also got osteoarthritis in a knee and a foot. And I have no trouble pumping this. Now, I don't think I'd want to pump it from dead empty up to 200 bar. I would certainly feel that. But and I'm not going to say it's effortless for me to do 30 pumps. But for optimal pumping, you want to pump slow on this anyway. You want to pull the handle up to the top, wait, like pause for half a second, push down, pause for half a second, up. You don't go bang, 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 bang. You go, up, down, up, down, up, down. So, that kind of a rhythm. I do that 30 times and I'm ready for another 7 pellets. So 7 pellets may not sound like a lot, but look, if you want to just, spit pellets out the end of a barrel into your backyard at your targets, get a little CO2 rifle. I have a couple of them and they're tons of fun just for backyard plinking. They're awesome. This is more powerful, more accurate. So I'm actually enjoying working for the 7 shots and then taking my time to enjoy the 7 shots instead of just shooting for the sake of shooting. You just want to shoot for the sake of shooting. There's tons of fun air rifles out there. If you want to do pest control or small game hunting or focus on your marksmanship, this is excellent. Said 7 shots. Start at 150 bar, 7 shots, down to 125 or 130, another 30 pumps, and away you go again. And I'm actually enjoying the bit of exercise. I do feel it in my shoulders and my arms, but in a good way, you know what I mean? It's good to just sort of keep moving. So there you go. If a 53-year-old guy with congestive heart failure and screwed up shoulders can do it, well, pretty much anyone can do it. And it's very easy, very achievable, very affordable. This is a beautiful rifle for $199. As I said, later on, I'm going to do a review to go over that a bit more. But $199, unregulated, about $45 for the pump. And you've got a pretty good setup. Just quickly, to a little bit more on the regulator, I can really see the value of the regulator. If you have some property, if you're into small game hunting, this would be a fantastic rifle for it, really would. So if you've got a regulator and you tune or adjust the regulator to about 120, 125 bar, 125 bar, you're going to be right up around 850 feet per second and about 24, 25 foot-pounds of energy, which is great for pigeons and doves and squirrels and rabbits for small game hunting. This gun without the scope is 5 pounds. It's very light. It's very accurate, very user-friendly. So if you do have a regulator, you can pump this up to the full 200 bar and you're going to get at least at least 14 or 15 good shots in a very nice light rifle to walk through your property or walk through the woods. 15 shots, you should be able to come home with, 10 squirrels if you're going small game hunting, or 10 birds or 10 rabbits out of 15 shots. And this gun is accurate enough to out of 50, 55, 60 yards from what I've seen so far. Guys are having good results with 100 yards, but so there. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking now. I've got a tendency to ramble on a bit. Hopefully this gives you a bit of information if you want to know what it's really like to have one of these and keep it, working in that sweet spot, working in that range, that nice range of 150 down to 125 bar, 7 shots in 22, 30 pumps, and you're back at it again. Now the .177 has a 9 round magazine. You may be able to even get 10, 12 shots out of a .177 for the same pressure, for the same 150 down to 125. So anyway, that's going to do it for now. I hope this gives you some information, because I just, a lot of great reviews out there, but I simply couldn't get that information that I was looking for.